These are two of the best mini LED TVs you can get right now. The TCL is a 2025 model and the Hisense is a 2024 model. And many people wonder which one of these TVs should they buy. Well, first of all, you must understand that the amounts of brightness and the dimming zones vary on both TVs according to every size. For example, larger sizes of both TVs will have higher amounts of brightness and more dimming zones. Both TVs have great performance in these dark scenes with high dynamic range technologies. I'm showing you here the local dimming function. The Hisense has more dimming zones, but the results on the TCL are pretty good too. The subtitles on both TVs can be read pretty good in real life. This effect is just a camera effect which I'm recording with. But talking about the blooming effect on both TVs can be slightly more noticeable on the Hisense, but the Hisense has much better level of details. Or let's say the level of details is more balanced on the Hisense, talking about the background and also the details on every character. But the performance on the TCL is good too. But in some scenes and with some picture modes, I prefer the results on the TCL because the black colors look deeper, while on some parts of the screen, the black colors on the Hisense tend to look slightly grayish and bluish. I mean, it's not something super annoying, and in fact the level of details, as I just mentioned, is much better on the Hisense, but personally I prefer the deeper blacks on the TCL. But I know several people prefer the results on the Hisense. Which one of these ones you prefer until now? Talking now about colors and brightness, I must say that I prefer the colors accuracy on the TCL, but the Hisense has higher amounts of brightness in every picture mode. The values I put you on the screen right now about the brightness are by taking as an example the movie picture mode, because it's the picture mode recommended by experts when you try to measure the brightness amount. But of course, both TVs with other picture modes such as Vivid or Standard or Sports will show you high results in terms of brightness. And of course, I'm showing you the results out of the box in terms of calibration, but of course you can pay for a calibrator or buy a device so you can apply the calibration by yourself. But as I always say, I prefer to show the out of the box results because it's what many people want to see. On both TVs you can improve the color saturation, and also you can change the color temperature for a warmer, colder, or simply a standard result. Both TVs are compatible with Dolby Vision. These are the picture modes. Dolby Vision and the other high dynamic range technologies can be only activated automatically when the TVs detect that the content has some of these high dynamic range technologies. This means that you cannot enable these technologies manually. From my point of view, the colors accuracy remains better on the TCL, while the level of details remains better on the Hisense. And when you watch content on SDR, which means a standard dynamic range, the amounts of brightness on both TVs decrease a little, and on both TVs you can improve the results by making SDR content look like HDR with these parameters I'm showing you right now. And what I can tell you about the results with these parameters is that on the TCL the main target is to improve the contrast, while on the Hisense is to improve the level of details, as you can see. Then what I can tell you so far is that if you prefer better out-of-the-box colors accuracy, go for the TCL, but if you prefer higher amount of brightness and better level of details, go for the Hisense. In terms of gray uniformity, both TVs perform pretty well. The dirty screen effect is not so noticeable, and in fact when you watch content with higher color volume, the dirty screen effect will be practically imperceptible. About the image upscaling, on both TVs the results are great, however I think that the results on the Hisense sometimes look over sharpened, but this is a matter of settings. You need to apply some settings in order to decrease this over sharpness on the Hisense, and remember that none of the current 4K TVs will show you a 4K result if the resolution of the content is low. The viewing angles on the TCL are slightly better because, according to TCL, it has an HUVA panel, which means horizontal vertical alignment, while the results on the Hisense are slightly worse because it has a conventional UVA panel. And the results may vary a little according to every combination of colors, but there is an improvement in favor of the TCL. In terms of motion handling, both TVs have this motion estimation, motion compensation technology. You can decrease a lot the judder effect on both models. The results are pretty similar, but I have to say that are slightly better on the TCL, not for a huge difference, but I was able to notice it. The performance on the Hisense is pretty good, but as I just said, is slightly better on the TCL. Talking now about the gaming area, you must enable the game picture mode on both TVs, and on the TCL you must enable this game master function, and when you press this menu button for some seconds, this game bar will show up on the screen, while on the Hisense you have to add it through these shortcuts as I'm showing you right now, and you can enable this game bar. Both have different functions. For example, on the game bar of the TCL you can change the theme style, as you can see, and on both game bars you have the option of making an aiming aid appear on the screen. The difference is that you can change the position of this aiming aid on the game bar of the TCL, while this is not possible with the Hisense. With both game bars you have the option of these picture modes. You can choose between these three picture modes on the TCL, and you have more picture modes on the Hisense, which can be seen as an advantage. Input lag results in practice on both TVs are more than good. I think that almost every person will be more than happy by using any of these two models. Keep in mind that both TVs supports 4K up to 120Hz and also 4K up to 144Hz with variable refresh rate technologies. And this is possible on both TVs in two of their HDMI ports. In terms of general performance, I have to tell you that I personally didn't notice any ghosting effect on both TVs. I don't know if a professional gamer can notice some of this effect, but as I said, I personally didn't notice it. I think that the performance is pretty good. This is smooth. The picture quality is outstanding on both TVs, even with this type of video games with dark scenes and fast movements. And these are their inputs. These are the inputs for the TCL. It does not support any 3.5mm input, while the Hisense does support two 3.1mm inputs, one for headphones and the other for an AUVA-in adapter. These are their remotes. I like both, but the remote of the Hisense look more premium, and it has this option that some keys are backlit, which is really a great advantage when you use your TV in a dark room. According to the ADA64 app, they both have the same hardware, same amount of RAM, same storage or almost same storage, same processor with the same CPU clock range, and also the same GPU. The operating system of both TVs is Android TV with Google TV customization layer based on Android 12. The smoothness or fluency of the operating system of both TVs is outstanding. It depends of course on the Wi-Fi reception or Wi-Fi download speed you can get in your home. They both support the Google Voice Assistant and also the option known as hands-free voice control. They both have this menu for shortcuts. As you can see, is very useful, and also you can change the location of these shortcuts as I'm showing you right now, which is one of the things I like the most on both TVs. And let's say that the big difference in this smart area is that the TCL is compatible with the multi-view function, or also known as multi-visual, while on the Hisense you cannot achieve this option. And in order to finish this video, first I'm going to talk to you about their speakers system. In theory the power is the same, but in practice I noticed that you can get slightly more bass on the TCL, but the performance on the Hisense speakers is outstanding too. And if you ask me which one of these TVs do I recommend you, well, if you want better colors accuracy out of the box, and if you don't want to apply any calibration, go for the TCL. And also if you want deeper blacks in dark scenes, but if you need higher amount of brightness and better level of details in dark scenes, go for the Hisense. Also keep into account the remotes. If you want a backlit remote, get the Hisense. But if you need the multi-visual function, get the TCL. And also get the TCL if you need slightly better viewing angles. So let me know at the comment section down below which one of these TVs do you prefer, or which one will you buy and why. I remind you guys, you can support my channel by making some purchases throughout the links I put on the description and on the first comment. Also hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. Until next time.